champ is here!
It's just a man!
Give me a hell yeah!
What the rock is cooking?
To be the man, you have to be the man. Big bubble pump, and you hook up.
Fallen.
Holla, and the end.
Woo, woo, woo!
Cup of coffee in the big game.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the number one podcast for Swifties out there. Swifting with it. Wait, oh, I'm sorry. This is the wrong show. My bad. This is Working the Marks. It's my other podcast. What's going on, guys? Happy to see you here on the Working the Marks Network. Mach, how you doing, pal?
I'm good, man. Que lo que hay? How's everything going over there?
Good, man. I'm hanging in there, man. You know,
You
working
got
on
a Rhea Ripley shirt on?
working on some light comedy, a little bit of summer stock. Oh no, this is Blood Incantation, man. This is
nice. Okay.
This is a badass death metal band, man. You know, cosmic music for cosmic people, man. Very
I like it.
very space centric death metal. But we're not here to talk about death metal. My name's Dale Wavo. I'm a child actor, and this is Macho Rodrigez, the Boricua Nightmare. We're welcoming you here to Work in the Marks live, wherever it is you use your antenna. We're on channel 13 now. And you can catch us, you can make donations to our show with the number that will feature at the bottom before the end of the program. But before we get to that, we have a lot to talk about here in the form of the Elimination Chamber 2024 PLE. Mach, what a barn burner. Another hit from WWE, huh? Another one, as DJ Khaled would say. So the show I thought was really, really excellent. I know that there's people that woke up super early. I know that there's people that watched it later. Can you tell me about those people that woke up super early?
Yeah, man. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning and went downstairs, and my son, who was dealing with a little bit of the vid, he actually woke up early as well and laid on the couch. We watched the show. Thought it was amazing. It was a really good show. Really great way to get you, rocking. I was sitting there with my café con leche with my saltine crackers dipped into my coffee,
Nice.
Just definitely enjoyed the show. Thought it was great. Had some customary weekend donuts. Gotta have those donuts for the morning. But dude, we were glued to the screen.
Yeah.
Like, it was a great show. I have zero complaints about that show. Zero. Maybe one question that I'll ask you when we get to a specific match.
Sure. So obviously before the show started, you had the pre-show. You had a match between the Kabuki Warriors and Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae.
This is the way.
Yeah, good match. I thought Indy got a nice reaction, obviously, from the Australian crowd. Asuka and Kyrie, man, they're just like such pros. Like, they just know exactly what they're doing. Love the way that they work the tag. Real kind of house show style match, I felt, but just very well put together. And, Kabuki Warriors retained at the end.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job. I liked how the Kabuki Warriors worked on their heel tactics. You know what I mean? But they weren't like overbearing heels. They weren't like comical or anything like that. I feel like they saved the comedy for like the promo stuff, but when they're actually working, they do a really good job, and they're a great tandem. The both of them, I don't know what it is, but they're the perfect marriage of a tag team. Like, they just work with each other so well. I guess in the short history, you'd have to say that they're probably the best like women's tag team we've seen on WWE television, right?
I mean, I'd venture to say them or, Sasha and Bailey would probably be the best ones, if I had to pick. But they're phenomenal, and they're both just great workers. They get their role. They do it really, really well. Quick question for you before we kind of go over to the next match. Would you at some point want to see maybe an Indy Hartwell heel turn on Candice LeRae? Because I think I'd be game for that.
Well, that's a great question, because I really felt like we were going to get the other way around on Monday night. If you see the way Candice reacted to another loss,
yeah,
it made me think that we might actually get a heel turn on on one another. But yeah, I think Indy would benefit more from a heel turn because she lacks that character.
Right. She needs that edge, and I think you look at the both of them. Obviously, Candice, a lot smaller than her. Her being this big, menacing heel to fucking little Candice. I think that'd be really good and be a good way to get her over as a heel in the future. But yeah, something I'd definitely like to see at some point. Then you had the women's elimination chamber match. You had Becky in that. Who else? Help me out here. I'm trying to remember this one. You had
Bianca,
Becky.
Bianca, Becky, what?
Naomi, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was so long ago. Oh my
Tiffany
God.
Stratton.
Oh, yeah, the MVP of the match, Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah.
Everybody's flavor of the month, the juicy fruit, Liv Morgan.
And Raquel Rodriguez, right?
Raquel.
Okay. So I'll give you. Oh shit! The back. The back.
Yeah.
D pops for the back too. D was the first one to get the back over on the program.
She ain't got much back anymore.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I really dug this match. And I thought everybody was really, really good in it. I thought everybody did their part very, very well. Liv Morgan, I thought was really good in the match. I don't know. There was something a little different about her in this one. Tiffany Stratton, obviously the MVP of the match. And before I get a little further into what I felt Tiffany did really well in the match, what a testament to like the WWE developmental system. You know what I mean? That like every time these kids come up from developmental and are given a chance, like in a main roster spot, in a multi-person match, a high spot match, whatever it might be, the crowd's already with them and the crowd's already interested in them, whether they're booing them or cheering them. There's a reaction there. And man, like what a testament to developmental, how they kind of create this buzz around these people and debut them on the main roster, and automatically people are responding to them. I thought she was great. I thought she did everything she needed to do in that match. Nothing more, nothing less. At no point in time did I feel like she was overbearing. She was just excellent. She looked like such a veteran in there, man. Like she was just like, wow, man. Like everything about her I thought was great. And then the finish. I love the finish.
Yeah.
Just the little details about the finish. Even when Bianca kind of messed it up a little bit and she was kind of reaching, it kind of looked like she was still trying to win the match. Like it was something that she would do while she was in the match. And then Liv getting hit with the manhandle slam and all that, like perfect stuff. Like the fluidity of it, everything about it I thought was great. But Tiffany Stratton just looked like such a pro. The crowd was into her. Man, you got to tip your cap to her. Like, what a talent. In such a short space of time, the way she's been able to perform at this level. I know a long time ago on this program, I said that she had potential to be the next Charlotte Flair. And, man, I think she's certainly following in those same footsteps based on performances like that.
Yeah, she's definitely a star in the making. She's moving along. She's moving along a lot faster than expected. I mean, to have an entire crowd in a different country chanting for you, and you're supposed to be the big heel of the match.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened. I mean, she's standing in her pod. They're chanting Tiffy time. And she goes out there and she shows out. And I think I said this to you when we were talking about this off air, but I don't think this is going to be the Montez Ford thing. Montez Ford was the MVP of an Elimination Chamber as well. And he slowly but surely just like trickled back down the card. I think this is a marker in the beginning of what she's going to become. Like, this is going to be one of those things where they pointed out, and WWE posted on their social media the video of her in the pod reacting to the crowd chanting for her. That to me means that they have future plans for her. They're already like picking and choosing what's happening based on what we saw and who pinned her. I actually believe that would be the best WrestleMania match for her, but I know you have a different take on who she should work at Mania. I feel like that would save face with fans, especially like so that way they don't ruin the Rhea Becky match. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely feel that she looked really well, and kudos to Raquel. Because I don't know if you noticed, her stuff that she's dealing with flared back up, so she was red all over her body, and she still went out there and performed.
I'm not too familiar with what's going on with her. I thought everybody was just so good in it. I thought everybody did their job really, really well. I'd love to see Tiffany and Bianca at Mania. I think that would be a great match. There's so many possibilities based on what they did in the performances of the women in the match. But all in all, man, I thought it was a really, really, really solid showing. And the thing is too, it's like to some extent, maybe you're going into this match, it's going to be a good match, right? But that the end result's going to be Becky going over, right? And sometimes that could be a little bit of a downer, knowing how it's going to happen. But I felt like with this match, they got to the inevitable ending that they were supposed to get to, but it didn't really feel like a downer match at all. And I thought it really had a nice pace to it, and it was one of the best matches of the night.
What I really loved about it was the finish saves Bianca from taking another loss to Becky.
Mm-hmm.
And even though they're kind of like 1-1 at the moment, and it actually helps Liv Morgan's stock because she's the one who pins Bianca Belair.
Right.
So it's like, okay, like this, I just got a monumental win. I just beat like Bianca Belair, who's like hot shit. And she's so excited, she turns around into a manhandle slam. And it's like, what a great ending. Like when it happened, I know it felt like a lot of people were complaining about how fast it went. And I was like, that's the perfect ending.
Nah, it was excellent, man, because, you didn't go to this big dramatic, like fancy pro wrestling ending. Like it was like narrow moments. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, the Super Bowl or the World Series or, those fine margins. We know it a little all too well in the Super Bowl, but it's those fine margins, you know what I'm saying, that kind of define who wins and who loses. Mm-hmm. And that's what I really dug about the story that they told in that match. And again, I just thought everybody came out looking fantastic. So the next match was the tag title match, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so
what a great match.
You had the New Catch Republic of Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate taking on the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions in the form of the Judgment Day, Patty Reekin's favorite tag team, the Patty Reekin Connection, if you really think about it. Finn Balor and Damian Priest. I dug this match, man. What did you think? What did you think?
Man, I thought this match was spectacular. It was everything I wanted. Finn Balor sold his ass off in this match. He's even selling the thumb injury the next on Raw. He looked like Solo, like a mini Solo out there with the thumb wrapped. Man, this match was just so good. I think this is the perfect spot for Pete Dunne to just be a tag team wrestler. I'm going to be very truthful. I don't get it if he's a single star. I think he needs someone to work off of. And then the big boy. The big boy is a star in the making, man. Tyler Bate. Yeah. He's so good. The way he works. I thought once again Damian Priest showed out at a premium live event. Mm-hmm. He's so dependable. You can put him out there and he's gonna give you really good work. I also thought that the marriage of these four, having not worked a lot of time together, I haven't seen any house show loops where these four guys have worked together, where you read the results and stuff. I haven't read any results where they're working each other. So to go out there and work each other on essentially what it feels like maybe they're first off, and to do it in a different country on jet lag, and to follow that women's elimination chamber, I was so happy with this match. Yeah, I don't have a single critique about it.
No, I loved it. I really dug the way Judgment Day gave Dunne and Bate so much heat at the beginning. They let him just shine so much, man. Mm-hmm. I dug the false finishes early on. I thought that was cool because it kind of added to the seriousness of the situation, and how Dunne and Bate had this desperate nature to become champions. And I thought that was so great and lent itself so much to the story they were trying to tell. But Priest, man, selling his ass off for these guys. They gave them so much in this match, and they still came out looking great themselves. And the finish I thought was excellent, very, very well timed. Finn with that stomp, just perfect stuff. And Dom Mysterio, man, I gotta say, I thought it was kind of interesting that the Judgment Day was in Australia, and Priest, and Balor, they get cheered, but Dom just gets booed everywhere.
Everywhere.
It was great. I thought he added a lot to the match too. But yeah, another great match and another one of the best matches of the night.
Not to sidetrack you here, but I wonder, do you think that wrestling fans of today's era, do you think that they kind of treated him betraying Rey Mysterio as kind of like how Psycho Sid used to say back in the day, like if you want to be a really good kid, like he'll go spit in a kid's face? Because that's what it feels like. It's like he betrayed Rey Mysterio. And it feels like the only way to turn a babyface is to have him go like help his dad out.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, what do you think? Do you think that was like the ultimate for the fans?
I think that, and I just think it's the fan participation aspect. You're in an arena, you're cheering, you're booing this guy. That's the thing to do, and fans get into it. And
yeah,
it's also a sign of respect. And I think more than anything else, it's like they notice you. So that right there, I think is just really, really huge. And speaking of Dom Mysterio real quick, I was going to throw this in there anyway. It was reported by the Dirty Sheets and Billy Body that Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio have signed new deals with WWE. Rey signed a 3-year deal and Dom signed a 5-year deal.
Wow.
In Rey's 3-year deal, he comes back, but he gets a bus. And in Dom's deal, he doesn't get a bus, but he gets first-class travel. Originally, when Dom signed with the company, people thought that Dom was going to ride with Rey in his bus and be with Rey on the bus. But Rey would go and mingle with the boys and travel with the boys because his dad thought it would be best for him to do. And obviously, it ended up paying off. And, he started traveling with the Judgment Day, and they legit became friends, off screen as well. So that kind of evolved from there. And as a symbol of, their appreciation for Dom re-signing with the company and the good work that he's been doing, they added in the first-class travel element. So that being reported by the Dirty Sheets and by Billy Body. And let me tell you something, man. Good for Dom. Good for Dom. Good for Rey too, but good for Dom more than anything else, only because, Dom at one point was kind of in a sink or swim moment, He was in a sink or swim moment. It could have either worked out for him as a heel or it could have completely failed for him. And thankfully it worked out for him. And it seems like, Dom's very receptive to veteran advice. It seems like he's learning, he's evolving. He seems like he has a great mentality and he's got the respect of a lot of legends. I mean, that just tells you right there that he's doing all the right things behind the scenes. So kudos to Dom Mysterio. And I thought he added great stuff to the match before he got booted out. But yeah, man, awesome tag title match to keep the show going. Then they had the Grayson Waller effect, right? With Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins and Austin Theory. So give me your thoughts on what you thought the objective of this was going to be and how this would impact the bigger picture.
So I thought this was to further the story with The Rock and Cody. Mm-hmm. It feels like we're gonna. I think the objective is to get a tag match. Mm-hmm. That's what I feel like the rumor is. Yep. Like we're gonna get a tag where it's gonna be the Bloodline versus Seth and Cody. The more I think about it, it feels like WWE is positioning Cody to be the face of the company, and by doing that, he's going to main event night 1 and 2. Yeah. Night 1 against The Rock, night 2 against Roman.
Night 1 against The Rock.
That's kind of what my mindset is telling me. I don't know. Okay. I haven't seen any rumors about this. This is just the way I'm going because the moment The Rock posted on social media he was going to be at every SmackDown in March, Cody jumped right back at him saying, like, I'll be there too. And then Cody challenges
That's
him,
fair.
like, there in Perth. And it makes me think, like, this is pretty interesting.
Well, you know, I can understand why people would think that, you know what I mean, based on, you know, the promos and the stuff that they're saying and everything else. From what's being reported, like from what's on the dirty sheets and what they're talking about, they're saying that Drew Gulak's been working out with The Rock, and that The Rock is not where he should be in order for him to have a singles match just yet. So they feel that a tag team match would be better for him to be a part of WrestleMania. A big part of why Roman and Rocky did not move forward was not because of fan backlash. It was mainly because of the fact that The Rock is not fit just yet to wrestle. Okay. So that being, you know, a bigger issue, you know, putting him in a tag team match is a little bit easier. Putting him in there with Roman, who can take the bumps, putting him in there with Cody and Seth, who can help him. It's a better idea. You keep The Rock involved, and you can also further the story and set up the one-on-one match next year, which is where they feel currently is the best place to do this. So I think that with this segment, they planted the seeds, you know, with Seth letting him know, hey, I got your back and all that other stuff. And I could see a scenario where, you know, Roman and Rock win, and Rock gets mad at Roman for cheating and doesn't like that he cheats. And then him telling him, hey, man, we don't need to do that. We're as good as we say we are. You know, we don't need to do that to win, you know, and that kind of causing a rift between he and Roman. And then night 2 main event, Roman goes to the same thing again. Rocky gets involved somehow, you know, and Rocky either, and there's 2 scenarios here. There's 2 scenarios we could look at. One scenario, Cody wins the title, right? And in that scenario, you have Rock come out. You have a big, you know, thing with him and Roman, him telling Roman, you know, but you bump the ref, the whole 9, and you have a big face off with them, and then Roman slaps Rock. And then the place fucking go, oh, you know, and then he rock bottoms him. And then as Roman's selling it, looking up the ramp at Rocky, here comes Cody, crossroads, boom, crossroads, boom, crossroads, boom, over. That's it. New champion, story finished, right? Yep. Took your cousin, took your title, you know, right? But then the other way that they can go with it is Rocky either helps Roman cheat to retain, or gets involved but inadvertently costs Cody the match, right? And then the bloodline jump Rocky after WrestleMania, and now Rocky's left laying, and, you know, Roman retains the title, and Roman's on his way to, you know, break Hogan's record, right? Now, you know, the bloodline's done. Rocky's not with him anymore, all this other stuff. Or, you know, he can retain, right, by helping him cheat. And then the next night they beat the shit out of him on Raw, and you don't see Rocky till next year. So those are the ways that we're kind of looking at. And I know I outlined a few different scenarios, but I think if you're keeping up with it, you can understand where they're trying to go. And I think that those are the 2 scenarios based on what's being reported. Unless something dramatically improves in the coming weeks in terms of his ability to be able to work. And look, here's the thing. Rock's in great shape. Great athlete. But wrestling is a whole other animal, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if you're a main event wrestler, and if you're the kind of guy that people want to see you taking on Roman Reigns, who can work and is a fucking workhorse and can go in that fucking ring, you got to be able to hold your own and do your part. So if he's not there, then yeah, I do agree. I think a tag team match would be better, and that would be a good way to turn them. But who knows what could happen? Either way, look at what we're doing right now. You know, we're talking about it. We're coming up with hypothetical scenarios. We're engaging in this conversation about what they're doing. So obviously they're doing something right to keep us talking. And when wrestling is making you think, when wrestling is making you ask questions, that's when it's at its absolute best. So moving along, we had the men's Elimination Chamber match, and that matchup featured Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens,
Bobby Lashley.
Bobby
Logan
Lashley, Logan Paul, and LA Knight. What did you think of this match, Mach?
I thought this was a really good match. I guess in terms of ranking it, this would probably be my least favorite match of the night, but it was still a great match. I really enjoyed it. I came away with a question, which is very odd to me, but I definitely enjoyed it, and I love that we set up 2 singles matches for WrestleMania. I thought that's what the Elimination Chamber does. It sets up future stories, and we got that. We got that in such a great way. It saved a lot of people from having to take L's. There's some losses that were taken, but now we have good stories going into Mania. My one question was, I expected more Logan Paul in this match. And I was shocked that I expected that he was going to do more than just one suicide dive. I expected for him to be a big part with his athleticism.
I think we got more out of him than maybe you're suggesting. I think his character work and the stuff that he was doing when he was in the pods,
I suppose.
I think he made up for his lack of involvement, I would say. But I thought he did great in it as well. I did.
Character-wise, I thought he was exceptional, drawing on the pod and his part with his reactions to Kevin Owens, head banging on the pod. The moment with Randy.
Yeah.
I guess I just expected more. He's the Ricochet of the match. He's the Montez Ford of the match. When you look at the superstars in there, I just expected him to do more. And I was like, this is going to be a big Logan. When I looked at him in the match, I was like, well, you got to have a guy with his athleticism in the match. He's that, spot stealer. He's the guy that we're going to remember looking back on this match. So I guess you're right, though, in terms of the character work that he displayed in the match. Yeah, we are looking at the chamber, and those are the clips that are being uploaded. The devil horns, Kevin Owens sucks, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. I thought everybody involved was really good. I thought Bobby, the way they eliminated Bobby, was really clever. You got the matchup now being set up. With AJ now and with LA Knight. That's the TNA match. That's the TNA fan match. Shout out to Uribe on that one. I know he popped for that, even though I'm sure he'd like to see his guy LA Knight a little further up. But I think Randy and Logan Paul is going to be an awesome match for Mania, man. I think that's going to really deliver. Whatever they choose to do, whether Randy goes over or not, I personally wouldn't want to see Randy go over. I like to see Logan keep the title a little bit longer until they can kind of, build somebody to take on him. Unless, they want to give the rope to Randy here and give him the belt one more time. That'd be kind of cool, but I don't know. I feel like Logan needs to keep it, man. He's doing a lot of good stuff with the title. I dug the finish mainly because you set up a match and you gave such a dickhead victory to Drew, who is the number one dickhead in the company right now. Yeah. Who's just doing some of his best heel work ever.
Yeah. Talk about character work. His character work is otherworldly right now.
That's why I really dug the finish, because I thought it was so fitting to his character, to just such an underhanded fucking way to win, fuck it. I'll take it, and then to brag about it. That's the best part, He's just been so awesome lately, Drew, man. All his stuff on socials, the promos that he's cutting, you really get this sense and this feel that there's kind of this fusion with the person and the character right now, and it's kind of they're just vibing. And I'm really looking forward to Drew and Seth at WrestleMania. I think that's going to be an awesome match. Could it be a one-on-one match? Might it be a three-way match? We don't know. Let's see. Anything can happen on the road to WrestleMania, but in all probability, it seems like it's going to be that. And then in the main event, you had Rhea Ripley defending the WWE Women's. Is it the Women's Heavyweight Championship or what? Okay, the Women's World Championship against Nia Jax. I dig the match. I thought it was good. I thought Nia had a fantastic showing in the match. I thought she got so much in this match. Rhea, man, you know, I know you've mentioned it before, how great she is at selling. You can't put it over enough, man. She looked amazing. It was just, you could see that she was feeling the moment. Her family in the front row, great showing, great match. And I thought it's a nice way to head towards Becky and Rhea at WrestleMania.
I love this match, man.
Yeah.
I thought this match was awesome. When I watched this match, the one mistake I saw was that the little TV sets or the little iPads should have been moved off the table. That was the only thing I thought. But other than that, I thought this match was exceptional. I thought Nia Jax looked her part. I thought the Hurricane Rana with Rhea and Nia not selling it by not like flipping over right away, I thought that was intentional. When we hear Big Show talk about when he came up in the business, he used to take bumps all the fucking time. This dude was doing kick-ups, like Nick, right? Holding onto the top rope. And he was pulled aside by Taker, and he's like, I don't want to see you do that shit anymore. Like, let them work to get you down. I thought she worked like a giant. Yeah. And I thought it was perfect. And then you see idiots like Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer actually post themselves on a video berating Nia for this match. Dude, you gotta watch it. It is fucking brutal.
I mean, first of all, I don't really dig much of what they say because I think anytime they watch WWE, they watch it from a different perspective. I think they watch it from the perspective of somebody who's watching New Japan or indie stuff or AEW stuff, you know, that style of wrestling. And when I say that AEW is an indie, I don't mean that it's an indie in the sense of like how much money it makes and how much the owner has. It's the style of wrestling. It's indie style wrestling. Okay.
Yeah.
There's not a
indie style wrestling.
Not a lot of style, not a lot of selling. You know what I'm saying? A lot of crazy high spot moves, you know, 50 million fucking kickouts, you know, all this stuff. That's indie wrestling. That's indie wrestling. And that type of indie wrestling is trying to impersonate Japanese wrestling from the 90s. Okay. And you know, Japanese wrestling from the 90s is a different thing. Japanese wrestling in general is very different. The way it's presented, the way the psychology is, as opposed to American wrestling. You know, so it's totally different stuff. And that style of wrestling, you know, that's the kind of stuff that they like. That's what Brian Alvarez and Meltzer like. That's what their base likes. And of course, they're gonna please their base, and they're gonna talk about stuff that their base likes. So they can't really be objective in this situation. You know,
they weren't objective about the match. They were.
Well, they don't like Nia. They don't like the, but that's the thing. They don't like Nia because a lot of that crowd, a lot of that side of the audience, the hardcore mark audience, they don't like Nia. Oh, because she hurts people. She this, she that. Like, shut up.
Man, this second run for Nia is as successful as anybody's second run that we've ever seen.
I think she's doing really good stuff. I think the way she's been presented is the best way she's ever been presented. And I think she's only going to get better, dude. I do. I think she's only going to get better over time. And she still has that thing that none of the other women, and really maybe Dom only has, that she's like a legit heel. Like she is a legit heel. Like people do not like her, you know? And that's the thing. And I think that they found a really good happy medium there, and they figured out a good, impactful way for her to work. You know, the way she works, the way she hits the bonsai drop, like all that stuff, bro, it looks super effective. It looks super impactful, and she's not hurting anybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, to me, she's one of the best right now, man. She really is. Yeah, she's doing a great job with the stuff that she's producing right now.
Yeah, and obviously Rhea Ripley looks like the star.
Yeah. I mean, Rhea's really, really special, man. Like she really, really is special, and it's crazy because it's like she's still not there yet. You know what I mean? Yeah, she's still not. She's still not there yet. 27. And it's crazy because it's like, I'll say it now, man. I think Rhea could one day main event WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I think she could do that. I think she could actually do that. Like she could get in that Becky, Ronda, Charlotte territory. You know,
She could do it this year.
yeah,
We don't know. We don't know. It hasn't been determined yet.
And let's not forget Bianca and Sasha too. They did it as well.
Yeah.
You know, but you
they
know,
have their own different. They have different history.
Correct. Yeah. It's you know, I definitely see like a lot of potential for her and everything that she's doing.
Yeah.
And I think that all in all,
these women have main evented more than CM Punk.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But everything got altered just because, you know, he got injured. Everything, all these plans, everything that went to, I mean, it was set in fucking stone. Rollins Punk night 1, Rocky Roman night 2. You know what I mean? Like, that was it. And then one injury just changes everything completely. You know? So obviously, you know, it's been a really, really interesting road to WrestleMania. I think it's only going to get more interesting, and WWE just continues to produce great stuff. And this is just another example of it. So now I got a little bit of news for everybody on here too, and this is in regards to Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair signed a 5-year contract with WWE. She's going to be getting about 7 figures and a bus, okay, which is basically what Bayley got. And again, this is all reported by the Dirty Sheets, by Billy Body, #1 source pro wrestling information out there, pro wrestling news out there. You don't have to like the guy. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't like his views. But when it comes to wrestling news, man, dude's right a lot about everything and predicts a lot of stuff before it does happen. So that's being reported there. That deal that Charlotte got was the same deal that Bayley got, as I had mentioned, and it was the exact same deal that Sasha turned down. Because when Sasha was initially negotiating with WWE, she was negotiated at a lower rate than eventually what Charlotte ended up getting. And the reason why she was negotiated at a lower rate was because TKO did not feel that she produced the kind of metrics that, you know, could compensate for the fact that she had left the company. So in other words, if she was able to produce more, like if it was a Punk situation kind of deal, then yeah, I could see something like that. You know, then they would be more receptive to doing something like that. And because of that, they were not receptive to doing that. And Sasha ended up signing with Tony Khan for a greater number than what Charlotte had agreed to as well. No bus, because their schedule is not as rigorous as WWE's, but she's making more money. Her contract goes into effect March 1st with AEW, and she will be debuting March 13th at the TD Garden in Boston. So that's going on with Sasha. That's going on with Charlotte. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, and then we got some other contract news from MJF. So I'll tell you right now, folks, and this is, you're hearing it first here on Working the Marks. Next year, 2025 Royal Rumble, you will not be seeing MJF.
If we're going to talk about MJF, we got to do it the right way. We got to do it the right way.
What? Oh, you're terrible. You're terrible. Hey, he did something great for sure, people, and I'm gonna tell you in a sec. But 2025 Royal Rumble, 2026 Royal Rumble, 2027 Royal Rumble, 2028 Royal Rumble, 2029 Royal Rumble. You're not gonna see MJF.
Surprise, motherfucker.
You're not gonna see MJF. MJF signed a 5-year deal with AEW, and MJF has signed a deal with AEW for $3 million a year for 5 years. Okay. Whether AEW is still around in 5 years, we don't know. In all probability, Dee's going hard on the effects tonight. It's great. Whether or not AEW is around in 5 years remains to be seen. It might be, given the fact that Tony Khan, you know, does spend a lot of money on AEW. But MJF signed a 5-year deal, man. And by the time the contract should be up, it'll be around 29, the middle of 29, and he'll be in his 30s. So any of you fans out there that are hoping to see MJF turn up in WWE soon, barring AEW going out of business, I don't think you're going to see that. And even then, there might be some legal loophole that would prevent it from happening. But MJF is in fact committed to AEW at $3 million a year.
Nobody's asking about him now.
And are you ready for this? I dated myself like a motherfucker with that. MJF is the shortest wrestler to ever make $3 million a year.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
In the history of professional wrestling. Yes, at 5'7", MJF making $3 million a year makes him the highest paid wrestler of a vertically challenged physique.
Oh my god!
That ass shortest wrestler to be paid $3 million a year.
This motherfucker's not 5'7". Get out of here!
Not Mysterio, not Danielson. None of
You
them.
hated him so bad.
I'm
You
serious.
gave him a couple of inches. That's insane.
He's the shortest wrestler to get paid $3 million a year. So there you go. You heard it here first, folks. MJF in AEW for 5 years. Don't expect to see him in WWE unless AEW goes out of business. But yeah,
But let's be honest. Nobody misses this motherfucker now. Nobody's tweeting about him. Nobody's talking about him. Nobody cares.
well, okay. But let's at least say this much.
What?
It might be a little bit more watchable at certain parts if he was there. It might be. And their audience really misses him, you know? And
Do they?
I mean, look, I'm personally not that big of a fan, but you can't deny the fact that like the dude is really good at doing the basic shit and he has a connection with the audience.
Yeah,
He's
great.
he's very
He's
good
great
at
with the
working
audience
and
stuff.
understanding the basics, the fundamentals of wrestling. He gets that shit.
He's fucking 5'7". I can't get over the fact
But-
that you said that. You just like, we're not supposed to tell like his real height. People think Adam Cole's 6 foot. What kind of people would we be if we told everybody he was 5'8"?
Nah,
Do that shit.
nah. But he's 5'7", and that's how much he got paid. So yeah, so
That's crazy.
MJF, like I said, I think that he has a lot of talent. I think he's good. I think he can work, but I think he needs a new shtick, or I think he needs to reinvent it. You know what I mean? Like it needs to kind of evolve a little bit, because even though like parts of it is still very effective, it's just still like it's kind of tired. It's like, all right, we've seen this already. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see something different from MJF when he comes back. I really, really do. I want to see something different from him. I want to see him challenge himself. And I think that if he could do that, then we might see a newer, more interesting MJF. I mean, let me tell you, man, there's plenty of wrestlers that I did not like throughout the years that I wasn't necessarily a fan of, but I could recognize the talent. And I could see that the potential is there if they get something to kind of sink their teeth into, something that they can do. Like, I was not always a Sami Zayn fan. I was not always a Seth Rollins fan, but I thought that they were phenomenal talents in the ring, but they were missing something. And then they found their things, and then it just took them to another level. I feel like MJF has the ability to do that, but what he finds, what happens, remains to be seen. Speaking of AEW much, I have to get your thoughts on Sting's final match coming up, man. You are probably the biggest little stinger I've ever met in my entire life. And I know how much Sting means to you. I know how much Sting means to the business. But how are you feeling about heading into this AEW pay-per-view, Sting's last match, with your boy at your side, your number one tag partner? How you feeling about this, and how you feeling about the Stinger, and how do you, as a Stinger, want a Sting to be remembered as?
Well, this is going to be my first AEW show that I will be attending, and it will be my first time watching Sting in person. And so this is a really big deal, and it's awesome because I get to see Sting and Bryan Danielson on the same card the same night, which is awesome. I think it's bittersweet. I've spent a lot of my life like following this specific character and what he means to me. Like I've said it, I say it at work when I talk to guys who talk about wrestling. If it's not for this man, I'm not a wrestling fan. I was never drawn into a single superstar the way I was to him at such a young age. Like there was people, the way people felt about Hulk Hogan, that's how I felt about Sting. He was that for me as a kid. You know, I remember arguing with you and Bernie
like about Sting.
Yeah.
Like that's that
Remember-
guy. That would be,
Remember watching Halloween Havoc when he fought Brett?
yeah.
Remember
yeah,
that shit?
Super pissed. Yeah,
That was great.
fucking Brett.
That was great. That was
This is
hilarious.
just one of the worst fucking matches. I was so angry at that match. That match was pretty good when you
No, it
go back
was.
and watch
It was.
it now.
It
It was
was.
just
It was
like,
good.
oh man. And obviously, Brett says like nothing but glowing things about Sting too. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, he actually likes people.
Well, he's not
But,
Bill Goldberg. That's why.
yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited. I guess I haven't really let it hit me. This is gonna be the last time. I know he was marketed tonight on Dynamite. This is his last Dynamite appearance. So I don't think he's gonna be an on-screen talent anymore. Like I don't think he's gonna be wrestling or anything like that. Like that's how they marketed him. They said this is Sting's final appearance at Dynamite. And I was like, oh wow, so like he's walking away.
Yeah.
You know. He's really hoping one of his kids would take on the mantle, but they didn't do that. Like those are some big fucking kids. I'll tell you what. Like I don't know if you saw them at the last pay-per-view, like in the front row. Like those are some big boys. I can't believe neither one of them decided to be a pro wrestler, but
It's crazy. I mean, you figure they would have gotten into it by now. But I mean, yeah, no, Sting's meant a lot to wrestling. At one point, man, I mean, he was just like such a cool fucking character. Like visually, like Crow Sting too captivated fucking everybody back in the day. I mean, everybody used to sweat that shit,
Yep.
And I mean,
I wore that face paint 2 years in a row.
Yeah, dude. I remember you had the T-shirt. Everybody had the masks. Like, you'd see all that shit everywhere, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody always wanted to be Sting in the video games. You know what I mean? Like, he just
cool as shit.
He had this coolness to him, absolutely. And even going back, like early on in his career, man, he had a lot of intangibles, man. He had this natural charisma. He seemed like he was a great learner, working with the guys that he worked with, mainly Ric Flair, and just everything that he did, he just progressively got better and better. Obviously, took some gambles and with his character work, I would say in TNA, Joker Sting, stuff like that.
That's more of like a cult following. People do love that Joker. There's a lot of people, including Eric Bischoff, says he wishes that character would have extended its time. Yeah. It was only there for a short amount of time.
Joker Sting was something else.
Putting lipstick on fucking Hulk Hogan. That's just
that was something else. But Sting always definitely stayed relevant and had a great connection with the fans. Even his WWE run, you look at it now. Obviously,
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was excellent. The only thing, I wish was like, they would have used his WCW theme song. I thought that theme song was so like thematic. Like, I don't know, it made him seem like a hero. Like, it was like really fucking heroic music, man. But just
like the opera music, right? Like the way it was. Yeah.
Oh, it was, and the drums and everything, like it was just really, really cool song.
Or Seek and Destroy.
Seek and Destroy too. Seek and Destroy is just so awesome too, because it's like, fuck, they let him use a Metallica song. That's awesome. Getting the back gimmick over, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Sting, like I said,
his match with Seth Rollins was awesome up until the injury.
Yeah, I loved his match with Triple H. I thought it was such a great way to just get so much nostalgia. No, but I mean, it was just great nostalgia because it was like the late '90s in a nutshell. You know what I mean? Like that match, and it was just so cool. What's your favorite Sting match all time?
All time? April 26, 1999. I think it's Sting versus Diamond Dallas Page on Monday Nitro. Sting wins the World Heavyweight Championship and loses it the same night. That opening match with Diamond Dallas Page is possibly my favorite Sting match I've ever seen. Yeah. I thought those guys killed it. DDP was one of the most underrated workers. For some reason, nobody talks about him. When they talk about like really good in-ring performers, this guy had the goods. He knew exactly how to sell everything that you wanted in pro wrestler he was. Him and Sting had great chemistry. I love that match. I loved his 1990 match in Baltimore, Maryland with Ric Flair, where he wins the World Heavyweight Championship for the first time.
Yeah.
That was a good one. His tag team match with Lex Luger against the Steiner brothers, I thought was great. And I'm one of the people that I'll argue with you, with your abuela. I don't give a shit. There is not a single Sting versus Big Van Vader match that you could tell me is a bad match. Those two killed it. When I watched Sting versus Big Van Vader, I was supposed to hate Vader as a kid. The way him and Sting worked with each other, as a kid, like when I was watching that as a kid, he made me a fan of both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, wow, this dude is awesome. And to watch him throw German suplexes to Big Van Vader, like
Yeah.
release German suplexes. That's some crazy
They
shit.
worked a very Japanese style. They worked a very like
Yeah.
all Japan style when they worked together, and that's
Yeah.
that made it
He worked.
interesting.
He had great marriages. His matches with Great Muta
Were Rick
fucking
Rude.
amazing. Yeah, the Rick Rude matches. That international championship match, the one where Harley Race inadvertently hits Rick Rude with the chair, and Sting winds up picking up the victory. That's one of my favorite matches I've ever seen. And I don't know. I was such a Sting fan that I actually enjoyed his stuff with Vampiro.
That wasn't terrible either. You know what's one of his more underrated matches that I really, really love? Him versus Scott Hall at Uncensored for the title.
Yeah.
Love that
That was
match.
a really good match too. Yeah.
Love that
was
match,
a really good match
you
too.
know?
Yeah.
Just like two fucking pros, just at the peak of their powers, just knowing exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it. I mean, you know, Scott Hall, you already know I'm a huge fan of Scott Hall. But just amazing match between like two greats there.
Yeah.
The Vampiro stuff I thought was really cool. I think is, you know, his
He was
later
trying to make a star. He
yeah
was trying to make somebody.
yeah man and his TNA run I thought was good for the most part. I mean, you know, the Jeff Hardy incident that was kind of fucking shitty.
Yeah, that was a rough time. I mean, I'm sure Jeff regrets all of it, but yeah, he can't be there because he's a WWE guy.
Well, he has a contract with WWE. I mean, that's what it
But
is.
he did say it. He's like, you know, like Triple H is like his best friend. He can't like really. Let's put a WWE guy on that on you know. That company or whatever.
No. He's signed. He can't appear in their program. It's a contractual thing, and that's it, dude. He could be backstage at most, maybe, or maybe meet up with them or something, but I don't think he wants to do that, and there's a reason why. And you know, Khan decided to get petty too, so you know, it is what it is.
My least favorite Sting is the Wolfpack Sting.
Wolfpack Sting, yeah.
I just don't think he matched well with NWO.
I
felt that I red and black are like my two favorite like color schemes. I don't know. I guess I've always kind of been that way. So I enjoyed the makeup. I enjoyed the gear.
I hated the
goatee.
No, the goatee thing was cool, but the Sting I disliked the most was the one after the blonde Sting and before the crow Sting when he had like the longish dark hair. Remember that?
Yeah, that's the free agent Sting.
Yeah, that I hated that Sting. I don't know.
That's my favorite Sting. My favorite Sting promo is from that era.
Really?
Yes. Right after he gets accused of turning on WCW and being a secret member of NWO, he goes out and he cuts a promo. And I swear it has to be intentional. There's no way that Sting goofed up this much. His back is facing the hard cam. And he's almost like turning his back on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it, the way he talks about it, and that's when we get the first famous time he says, like, the only thing that's for sure about Sting is nothing's for sure. And that's the last fucking time this dude talks for 18 months. It's just amazing.
Damn.
Yeah, Crow Sting's the best.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah.
No question.
It really, really is. How do you as a Sting fan and as a little Stinger, how do you want Sting to be remembered?
He's better than The Undertaker.
Ooh.
No, I do feel that way. I do. I mean, he was having like 5-star matches before, you know, he met a Shawn Michaels. Now, I want people to remember Sting as a Mount Rushmore wrestler. I want him to be remembered more as a guy who gave back to pro wrestling, who never had a problem doing a job. He would get pinned by anybody. He'd tap out to anybody. It didn't matter if it meant something to a story. He's gonna do it. He never really wanted to. Like, this guy was the main guy. He was the face of a company, and he let this old fuck, come into his company and, completely change the business. And he's still the main guy. He seemed like he was such a good partner. I want people to just remember him as one of the greatest of all time. In my opinion, whether you can argue, I think he's like top 7 all time in all of professional wrestling.
Interesting.
I think you could probably put names like Randy, Sean, Brett, like above him, but I think you can make an argument for him that he's pretty up there. When you start throwing in like all around wrestling, then I guess you have to mention guys like Rock and Austin and But when I think of Sting, I felt like he was like fine wine, man. He got better with age. He was a better in-ring performer the older he got.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see that. Do you think Lex Luger would remember him as a snitch?
Maybe.
Because he did rat on Luger, man, about him cheating on his wife. He's a bad friend, bro. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that. I want to get that out of the way.
Yeah, but you know what? You got to be honest with yourselves. Like you got to be honest. Like Malenko, Benoit, Saturn, they all ratted on Eddie, and it helped Eddie. Like Eddie talks about it in his book. Like they all had to rat him out for him to flip his life around. And look what happened, man. Lex Luger, he gave his life to Jesus. Now he's like a devout Christian. He tweets every single day. He's thankful for another day on this earth.
Flexi Lexi?
Yeah, man. The total package.
The narcissist. One of the
most underrated wrestlers ever. People just, I don't know what it is about Lex Luger. People just make shit up. Like, they're just like, this guy sucked in the ring. Your mother sucked in the ring. He wasn't a bad wrestler.
It's the motorcycle accident,
Yeah,
the motorcycle.
Rough one, yeah.
The motorcycle accident, he got the metal plates in his forearm. That's why he was able to take people out,
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure.
Worse, he could have had to carry. He could have been wrestling with a prosthetic.
That is true. That is very true. Could have been like, what's his name? Mad Dog Vachon,
Yeah.
But definitely going to be a big show this weekend. I think not just for AEW fans, but for wrestling fans in general. And, a great moment, a great send-off to a legendary wrestler. There's never going to be another Sting, man. There's only one Sting. And, man, any young fans out there that are watching this, I feel bad for you because you should probably be doing something else. But if you are watching this, go watch some Sting matches, some old Sting matches on Peacock. You'll feel better about yourself. Yeah. So, all that being said, I think we're done here. I think it's over. Yeah, I think we're done. And I think this was another great show. We appreciate, the interaction from the one other guy that was on here.
Another great show without Fernando.
Another great show without Fernando.
Another big Sting fan. He couldn't fucking be here to.
Oh, dude, he's like fucking Rain Man with that shit, bro. Like you ask him, it's like he just starts fucking going.
Yeah,
he's like fucking Rain Man. Oh man. Anyways.
You should do a turnbuckle in time of that 1990 Baltimore, Maryland with Sting versus Ric Flair.
That'd be a good one.
That's a good one.
That'd be a good one, man.
Or the tag match against the Steiners.
Get me something from the Greensboro Coliseum. It's a historic building, please. I'd appreciate it. Anything that's
historic.
Well, because so much wrestling's been held there throughout the years.
Okay.
It's historic for wrestling. Send me anything that says Greensboro Coliseum. Anything, it could be a keychain. Maybe a water bottle. I don't know, a pen, a pencil.
We're leaving at 5 a.m. So we're leaving at 5 a.m. We're gonna do a turnaround. Arthur, I'm sure Arthur's teacher's not watching this, but he's not going to school the next Monday.
Nice,
And I will be going to work, so it doesn't matter.
Damn,
but. Yeah, I'll do what I gotta do. But,
nice.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely. Hopefully, I can get you. Maybe I'll get you your first Sting merch.
Ooh. I see that half one. The half one looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
That one does
I don't want to give money to AEW, but like I really like that throwback Sting shirt, the one with the purple Sting lettering.
Oh yeah,
that
is pretty
I thought
cool.
that was cool where they kind of like remade it,
That is
touched it
pretty
up.
cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I could do that, or I can get you a mini Max, like like a MJF shirt with like a miniature of him or something.
An MJF
Surprise,
mini,
motherfucker.
cool. I'll give it rum like fucking Jobu. You know, maybe it'll bring me good fortune. I don't know. Maybe I'll make $3 million a year. You know, who knows?
I'm gonna flirt my ass off with Britt Baker though. If I see her, I'm just gonna I'm gonna shoot my shot. That's what it is.
Maybe you should write her a sexy letter. You know, you should send her a sexy letter.
Yeah. Just like look at her and be like, look, I'm a couple inches taller than you. Isn't that different than what you have now?
Ooh. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah,
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Look forward to bringing you some more content. Counting down the days till I don't have to work in this place anymore. And looking forward to...
You're going to be missed.
Am I? I'm going to be missed? I don't know. Maybe, you know.
Yeah, maybe started this whole thing. Just what you did, what you've done on the podcast here, you've spurned another podcast.
5 more episodes, 5 more.
5 more. I mean, you know, all I wanted was 7 figures in a bus. They didn't want to give me that.
Break out into snow just now.
No.
I really did. The way you did it, I thought you were about to break out into like snow.
No.
All I want to do is zoom.
No,
zoom,
that's not.
boom, boom.
That's not snow. That's not snow.
Who is? Oh, it's Informer. It's
no,
Informer.
yeah, Informer snow. But that's just shake your up. That's something society.
Yeah.
Who is that? D.
Just shake your rope.
All I wanna do is zoom, and your boom, boom. Just shake your up.
Yeah,
That's the shit. That's the shit, bro.
Hell yeah, man.
But yeah,
Yes.
counting down the days, man. You know, maybe they give me 7 figures in a bus. Maybe I'll stick around. I don't know. You know, but we'll see.
Maybe we need a signed contract.
Teddy
with
Riley,
you,
Teddy
and you won't
Riley.
fucking
Teddy
miss
Riley,
any
there you
shows
go.
anymore. Teddy Riley, yeah.
Yeah.
Rex and effects.
Rex and effects. There you go. Well, I might actually. I'm thinking about putting my career on the line in the last 2 episodes, and you know, seeing what happens. So I might have a career show where I put my career on the line. How that plays into the show, I don't fucking know. But
You
that's
could
what
do career versus hair with Uribe.
Jesus. Oh, blooded. Oh my God, dude. We're gonna do 2 out of 3 falls next week, you know. 2 out of 3 falls. But folks, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Check out Macho Rodriguez. Check out Much Love Wrestling. Check out Turnbuckle in Time. Check out Famcast Media. Check out From the Dungeon Podcast and all of the other wonderful podcasts here on the Famcast Media Network. Subscribe. Sharing is caring unless it's for STDs. And keep on keeping on. Life's a garden. Dig it? Till next time.
Famcast Media, bitch.